We are the Metrons. Your captain is losing his battle. We suggest you make whatever memorial arrangements, if any, which are customary in your culture. We believe you have very little time left. We appeal to you in the name of civilization. Put a stop to this. A powerful alien force threatens to destroy the Enterprise, and Dr. McCoy makes an impassioned, last-minute plea for mercy. But what does appeal mean in this context, and how would we translate this line of dialogue? Let's hear that last line again, this time in German. Wir appellieren an Sie im Namen der Zivilisation. Bereiten Sie dem ein Ende. Just by looking at these two words, we can strongly suspect that they are related. And in fact, they are. They both come from the Latin appellare, to call on or to summon someone. To appeal to someone in English means the same as appellieren an jemanden in German. To call on someone to do something, or to ask or beg someone to reconsider something. Now, since the words share the same origin and also share the same meaning in the modern version of both English and German, it's therefore tempting to assume that they are exactly equal in all contexts. For example, I will appeal this verdict. Ich werde dieses Urteil appellieren. That idea appeals to me. Diese Idee appelliert mich. That offer is very appealing. Dieses Angebot ist sehr appellierend. But all three of these German sentences are completely wrong, despite being a direct literal translation of the English word appeal. But why are they wrong? Let's talk about something called false friends. This is a linguistic term to refer to words that have similar or identical pronunciation and or spelling across languages, but which do not share the same meaning. This is either because the words are not related at all and happen to be pronounced or spelled the same way by sheer coincidence, or because the words were related at some point in the past, but whose meaning has shifted in one or both languages over time to the point where the words are now effectively unrelated. There's a bunch of false friends across English and German. Arm, for example. In English, this is a noun which refers to a body part. But a word with the same spelling and same pronunciation also exists in German, but it's an adjective which means poor. Similarly, the word gift in English is a nice present that you give to someone you like, whereas in German, gift means poison. Now, at first glance, it seems like false friends would be an absolute nightmare for language learners because you not only have to learn the new meaning of a word you're already familiar with, but you have to unlearn the definition of that word that you already have in your brain from your native language. But from my own personal experience anyway, I would say that false friends actually aren't that bad, because your brain gets used to the new definition in the context of your target language, and over time it doesn't trouble you too much. As an example, let's look at the word gymnasium, which exists in both English and German. This word comes from Old Latin, where it could either mean a place of learning or a place for exercising. Over time, the German language kept only the former definition and dropped the latter, whereas in English it was the other way around, leading to a bit of confusion across the two languages. But once you've seen the word used in context a few times in each language, your brain sort of adjusts to this, and it's really not that big of a deal. But let's talk about something I'm going to call semi-false friends. These are words that are in fact related across languages, but which have picked up new meanings and or dropped existing meanings over time in one or both languages. Appellare from Latin is a good example of this. In modern English, there are a bunch of definitions of this word that simply don't work in German. For example, in English, you can appeal a decision. This is mostly used in a legal context. In German, this would be eine Berufung einlegen. We will appeal this verdict in German would be wir werden gegen dieses Urteil Berufung einlegen. There is related legal terminology in English. For example, Appellate Court or Court of Appeals. This would be Berufungsgericht in German. Appellant is a legal term in English which refers to the person or legal entity who is appealing a verdict. In German, this would be Beschwerdeführer, from die Beschwerde, meaning the complaint or the grievance. There's an utterly unrelated meaning of appeal in modern English, which means to cause someone to find something attractive. For example, that appeals to me. In German, the word ansprechen is used for this meaning. Das spricht mich an. The related adjectival form in English is appealing, which means attractive. In German, you'd say ansprechend. Note that there is an adjectival form in German of the verb appellieren, and that is appellierend, but it does not at all mean what you might expect. For example, ein appellierender Text in German means a text that appeals to someone to do something, like a political manifesto or something. It does not mean a text that one finds appealing, in the sense of attractive. Trying to use appellierend in German the same way you'd use the adjective appealing in English simply won't work, because that meaning of the word appeal simply isn't there in German. It's a semi-false friend. So, I appeal to you to use caution when you encounter what looks like a familiar word in your target language, because even if it's related to a word in your native language, it may not share all of the same definitions that you have in your brain. It's therefore highly logical to make sure you take the time to relearn words that you think you may already know. That's all for today. We will see you next time on Learn German from TV.